It's the best station, period.
Let's be honest. These guys have the best job on the planet.
You come to work in a frickin' bathrobe?
So if you're out there working hard, you should also expect your radio hosts to put in an honest day's work. So of course, Jake and Ben are live at 5 with the biggest headlines and the best analysis in Utah. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for Live at 5, brought to you by our friends at Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 1-855-TRAJAN-1, or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. I heard a song the other day that I gotta give it to Christian that could be a good bumper. Christian's playing this one for me. I love this song.
Because you got troubles?
No, it's just a good tune.
Oh.
And We 5 is definitely a good one-hit wonder. Couldn't name you any other song We 5 has done. But I like this one. All right, Live at 5, as we mentioned, brought to you by Trajan Wealth. It is 5:04 and 40 seconds, not counting the delay. Ben curses a lot, so we have to have like a 2-minute delay.
Yeah, it's a long one.
So if the show ever sounds choppy, it's because Ben went on a swearing tirade.
Well, I'm known for that.
Only around the office.
Yeah. At home?
Heaven help you if the water cooler out there is empty. I mean, the walls are going to rattle.
I really let it go.
Ben is going to be so very, very angry. The biggest story in sports right now, Ben, the NBA playoffs. And by the way, we will break into our NBA playoffs talk if we do indeed get a phone call from Andre Tourney, who has not been excluded as a possibility quite yet.
He's always welcome, anytime.
He is always welcome, and we will literally interrupt anything we're talking about if he indeed does call in. So brace yourselves. We could be talking to him. Who knows? Ben, just about to get underway. In fact, I don't think it's tipped off quite yet. The Cavaliers and the Pistons, game number 2. And then the nightcap tonight is the Lakers and the Thunder. Ben, I know, again, it's not Hot Take Tuesday, but here's a hot take. Let's tip it off at the top of the hour.
This could absolutely be a good Tuesday hot take. The thing that makes me angriest is a game that says 7 and starts at 7:18. And it seems to get a minute later every year. But when you've been doing this since I have, which I started in 2011 and you started in 1989.
It's been a while.
It drives me
I was 8.
Absolutely bananas.
That's an ice cold take.
Your take is what? Start later?
No, everybody agrees with you.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
not a hot take
this
at
is
all.
not a hot take. You're right. But this is one of the big, we should figure out if we can. You remember we were talking about how the Canadian fans sued Inter Miami because Lionel Messi didn't play in a game?
Lionel.
We should be suing every sports league or maybe just the ESPN app. I don't care. But if your app says the tip-off is 7 p.m., you got 3.5-minute window. If the players are still practicing, warming up on the court at the time the tip-off is supposed to start, and we haven't done introductions, much less the national anthem.
Well, you know, it's a game app / TV thing. The
There
tip-off,
he is, Lionel.
the tip-off actually doesn't change on a game-to-game basis. Unless it's national TV and gets bumped. But the tip-off is something like 08, I think.
07 or 08, yeah.
It's 07 or 08?
Yeah, depending on the length of the...
It would not be hard to bump it up to 03.
At all.
Or 02. You just get the whole process started 4 minutes earlier.
Exactly right.
Or 5 minutes earlier.
And I promise you, I've been around a lot of pre-games, there's 7 minutes to shave. There's 4 minutes to shave off. Nobody's doing anything so precious that you couldn't find 4 minutes before, that you couldn't start 4 minutes earlier.
It does seem like they have buttoned up the videos a little bit. They were getting pretty outrageous there for a minute.
The length of the intro videos?
The length of the intro videos were getting... Every player had 45 seconds of... And it just was a little clunky for a while. I feel like they've tightened that up a tad. But yeah, instead of 08, roll it back to 03. That's it.
And again, we're at 08 now, and no, this game isn't even close to starting.
Well, do we have Amazon up right now?
No, I'm up on my computer. So I do have it up.
You do have Amazon up. And they still have not tipped off.
No, they're doing an Amazon ad, if you could believe it.
Isn't that all they do?
Probably.
Besides sports now, is there anything worthwhile on Amazon? I watched the Lord of the Rings reboot, but I'm so lost in the streaming services. I don't even know what's on what anymore.
I am with you. Outside of now that they have live sports, there is nothing I go to Amazon for, even their movies. And now, even if you subscribe to Amazon Prime, which I do, the delivery service, which comes with the TV, none of their movies are ad-free. All their movies have commercials in them. What am I paying for?
Well, you're paying for your hot dogs to show up tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Apparently.
I don't know. Do they do hot dog delivery? I don't think Amazon
You
does
do
that.
all kinds of delivery, whatever you want.
They don't do food, do they?
Yeah, I bet you could do food.
Well, Whole Foods probably does food, but does Amazon?
They have a name for it. Like their branch, their grocery branch.
Like, I'm sure you could get cereal or something, but can you get like perishable food?
Like a cooked dog. Come and have a barbecue at my house.
Just get Beehive
Get the
meals.
grill out.
It's easier.
Yeah, way better. I'm not seeing. You're right. I'm only seeing Whole Foods.
Yeah, I thought that's why they bought Whole Foods.
You get some wieners delivered, but you're not getting anything.
What's your go-to ballpark?
No, I like the jalapeno. I like the brat, like the cheddar jalapeno brat.
Well, not what kind of hot dog, Ben. And a brat is not a hot dog. I'm talking about what brand. You like a Bar S guy? Nathan's?
I'm trying to find it now. Johnsonville.
Okay. Well, that's what I asked.
LA Times.
Good pull, Christian. Have we tipped off yet?
Let me go back. Now
Still waiting?
Now I'm knee deep in hot dogs.
Ordering hot dogs on Amazon.
I accidentally just ordered $1,000 in hot dogs, but I crossed the $25 limit, and they will be here by 8 p.m.
Sweet.
Same day.
Tons of hot dogs.
But that's a lot of dogs.
Ben, we talked to Jeff Shudell. Did I pronounce that right? I think so. Shudell. Covers the Cavs for the News Herald. He joined us earlier in the show, and he thought that Cleveland was going to come away with a win tonight. I don't know where. I mean, we go back, of course, and listen to his explanation. But I don't know. I think the Pistons win. I think Cleveland is going to have a really tough time in this series.
Cleveland is 0-4 on the road so far in the playoffs. And maybe you say, well, that's a streak that's probably unsustainable because teams win on the road in the postseason, so maybe they snap that. But I don't know. The Pistons, I just think, are a better team than Cleveland. And I kind of wonder if Jeff Shudell still has a little bit of the Donovan glasses, which is a little deceiving. It's Donovan really kind of presents optimism in a sense of like there are moments where he really looks like a superstar and can easily be the best player on the floor for stretches, and you kind of just assume at some point it will shine through in the biggest moments, and it hasn't.
Well, he's never that in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, right. So,
which tells you what you need to know. It's like when the other team isn't in do or die mode, Donovan can make it happen.
Mm-hmm. But as soon as you stop Donovan from being able to do the things he does, he doesn't really have that alternate gear. You know, Dwayne Wade talking about the Jazz don't have a second gear. While we've talked a lot about that being Captain Jack's fault, I do think in some sense it's Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert's issue. Like Rudy's not all that versatile of a player. He can do amazing things defensively, guard a lot of different types of players, but what Rudy does is what he does. There's not like the alternative where, well, they took that away and now I adjust my game. And I wonder if that applies to Donovan quite a bit as well, where Donovan, obviously, extraordinarily skilled, one of the best scorers in the NBA, really an offensive dynamo, pretty good passer. But once you stop allowing him to kind of be the thing that he wants to be, I'm not sure he adjusts. And that's where having, 6'6" or 6'7" Cade Cunningham says like, oh yeah, well you take one thing away and I go to the next. Either I dice you up with my passing, or I do get to the rim, or I live at the free throw line, or I can knock down some timely threes. That's where I think some of those players start to separate themselves.
The concept of get on my back, guys, I'm going to take us home. It's the fourth quarter is stupid to begin with. But it's really stupid if you're not good enough to do it.
And
does that make sense?
Yes, 100%. And Donovan should never try to do it.
Never. No, he shouldn't. What players, honestly, in the NBA should?
Jokic.
But even his game is getting others involved. I mean, that's a big part.
Right,
That's
exactly
a big part of his game. He's not.
It's to run everything through me, but not finish everything.
Yeah,
with me.
not give me the ball and get out of my way. What guys in the NBA are actually good enough to play that way in the fourth quarter and win?
Yeah, maybe Shea, maybe Giannis. But again, what we were talking about, the maybes. Even if you want to include Jokic, we are talking about inarguably the three best players in the NBA.
Yeah, if there is a list, it's short, and Donovan's not on it.
Correct.
He's not.
But I do think Donovan, and again, I'm not trying to have a show where it feels like we bash Donovan all the time.
No, but it's super relevant. He's about to go out in the second round again.
It's relevant, and we're seeing why it's relevant. And where the Jazz are today is a direct result of what Donovan Mitchell was and what they decided he was not.
Well, exactly. And you know what it does is, and this is why Jazz fans and specifically the Jazz front office does care. If Donovan went to Cleveland and went to the NBA Finals and was an All-NBA first-team player and second or first in the MVP voting, and he really took off as one of the league's best players, like top 3 players, if that happened, it would have been a huge mistake for the Jazz to have traded.
And we would have been
Mitchell.
having a different conversation
We would have
about
been
him.
way different conversation about him. And that has not happened. And it is relevant because the Jazz made a huge, huge decision and gamble by flipping Rudy and Donovan. It was a gamble. And I think, you and I have talked about it on the show a bunch of times. Yeah, you and I both think it was the smart decision. I don't think that Jazz team was going anywhere with Donovan and Rudy. They were all capped out. They didn't really have adjustments to make. They could have moved on from Captain Jack and found a different coach and see how that worked, but really, it wasn't going to fix
Cavs had a couple of different coaches. It didn't change Donovan.
It didn't change anything, right? So they moved on from Donovan, and Donovan went to Cleveland and is the exact same player as he was here. I don't agree with the take. I'm not saying I just don't agree with the take that he's better in Cleveland than he was in Utah. Some people will tell you that because he hogs the ball more and so his stats are better, but I think he's the exact same player. He didn't get better. He's not getting more out of his teams. And in my opinion, that makes the Jazz look good. And it is relevant because the East does suck. And if you can't get out of the second round in the East this year, it ain't happening. And what was it, Jeff, who jumped on with us, basically told us that. He said it was true last year, and it's even more true this year.
Yes, and I would say I think Donovan has certainly refined his game to where he's probably better today than he was in Utah. It's not like the trajectory of his game changed at all. This is the same flight that left Salt Lake. This is the same guy doing the same thing. His points are up, whatever. He could have reached this exact point with the Jazz.
And that is relevant.
He would have reached this exact same point, and the problem is I think he would have been capped at the second round, and that's why, again, I do think the Jazz decided to amputate that leg. Now, the problem for the Jazz is once you amputate your leg, you are stuck without a leg, and that's where the Jazz have been for the last 4 years, and they've been trying to replace it. So that's why there has been pain, and why you may say, oh, that was a mistake, that pain wasn't worth it. I would listen to Jazz fans who said that. I've got no problem with that opinion in the slightest, but I don't think that Cleveland got this appendage, if we're sticking with the leg thing, that got them somewhere where they probably couldn't have with another type of player.
I don't think I would listen to that argument, honestly.
Okay.
Now, I'll listen to any argument, don't get me wrong. People can have whatever their opinion, and I certainly am wrong a ton. But what would have happened if the Jazz kept Donovan and Rudy and kept going out in the first and second round for the last 4 years?
They would have slowly gotten worse
Every
every
year.
offseason. And then you would have gotten into a point where you were stuck and getting less for your return.
And that's even if you got Donovan to re-sign.
Right. You're probably starting your rebuild, if not now, a year from now, and you have fewer resources.
I think the Jazz are in a great spot.
No, I do too.
I really honestly do. I love the Jaren Jackson move. I think having the biggest front line in the NBA makes the Jazz unique. I think it was a savvy move where they didn't have to spend all their assets to get Jaren Jackson. They could make another huge move if they really wanted to. I think they're set up in a really great spot. They have at least 6 guys that are rotation guys. Maybe more, maybe less. I mean, depending on how you feel about it.
Yeah, give or take a few.
Give or take a few.
Yeah.
Maybe there are some Big Phil fans out there that think he's a big part.
Yeah.
But they've got those pieces, and now they can move forward. And I would argue that they're as strong. And listen, I have no idea. This is a hot take. But I would argue they're as strong now as they were Donovan and Rudy's final year. We'll see how that proves out on the court. We haven't even seen them play together. But just looking at the lineups, I like where the Jazz are.
It's funny because both of these teams, and they were related because the Jazz traded Donovan to Cleveland, that both of these teams actually made this trade to open up a championship window. The Jazz just said, we're going to start further back to build up that momentum to get to the championship window. But the idea was there was no window with Donovan and Rudy here, and they wanted to get to a place where the window opened. They just started from really far back. And Cleveland said, we think getting Donovan Mitchell opens that window for us. And what I will say is, I don't think as a result of this trade, Cleveland is going to win a title before the Jazz do.
No, I don't. I don't think Cleveland's winning a title with Donovan period or with this group. Period.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So when you go back to like who won the trade, well, both of the teams I think had the exact same goal. Can this move get us closer to a championship, and not just get us closer, but win us a championship? And I don't mind Cleveland going for it. I like when teams go for it. That's what you're a fan for. You should go for it, and you would hope your team goes out and tries to get superstar players.
They just did it wrong.
The way they did it isn't going to work out. And you know what the truth is? The way the Jazz are doing it probably isn't going to work out either. I mean, winning a title is extraordinarily difficult. And the Jazz, minus hitting on a draft pick here, whether it's the first pick or the fifth pick or whatever it is that they get, I don't think they're on a pathway to having a top 5 player in the NBA, and that's generally what works. But maybe they get the right players that you can trade for this top 5 player. I don't know. I don't have a ton of faith that a championship for anybody is on the horizon unless you've already won one, and then it's not difficult to make that prediction. Even the teams that do win one have a really hard time repeating right now, as we've seen with Boston, as we've seen with Milwaukee, as we've seen with Denver. So I don't know who actually ends up winning this trade, but I understand now in retrospect the Jazz feeling like this is the ceiling. We see it before anyone else does, and we're going to make the move. And Donovan has not done anything. Donovan has not done anything that should change anybody's mind in the Jazz's front office.
I agree. Lakers Thunder Game 2 is the night. Yep, starting at 7:30. Is that even worth watching?
No.
Did you see that your guy Winbag said that Doncic will not be playing in this series?
Yeah, and I saw another report that says, Luka's telling you everything he needs to. Again, by the way, 14-7 for the Pistons up early in this game, 4 minutes in. The second Luka went to Europe to rehab, his season was over.
I thought so.
Yeah,
you thought so. Yeah.
I mean, I know he's getting PRP and cool, but
Is he?
Whatever he's doing.
Is PRP the new vodka brand over there in Spain?
I mean, first of all, I believe he's really hurt. Hamstrings are 6 weeks. Keontae George hurt his hamstring. I watched him that night after, and he was really downtrodden. Keontae, who has been up all year and was just like great energy to be around, was talkative, and when he did play or didn't play, he was always willing to share something. It was the only time I think all year where he had his back to the media, and because I remember I tried to go talk to him, and PR said not tonight. I said okay, I get it, but otherwise, Keontae has been an open book this whole season. He was talking about the draft. He was talking about players the Jazz could get. He was talking about other guys on the team. He was talking about his own development. He was talking about his growth as a person. He hurt his hamstring, which is the same grade 2 that Luka had, and he was borderline distraught and couldn't put his slide on, his foot, his sandal. He could not get his foot into the sandal. He was in so much pain. So no, barring the world's greatest clear distilled alcohol, rubbing on that hammy and fixing it, I didn't think Luka was going to come back.
This is part of the reason Nico traded him, though, right? Because he's a walking soft tissue injury?
Yes. He's not in great shape. He doesn't take particularly good care of his body. It's why you saw Michael Finley, when they were celebrating winning the conference championship, go pull a beer out of his hand. That's not accidental. While Nico Harrison might be the dumbest person in the last 10 years in the NBA, the Mavs knew what they were doing. They had some sense of what they were trying to accomplish with him. And so, yes, do I think this is completely unforeseen with Luka? Certainly not.
You mean the guy who didn't know Steph Curry's name has made a bad GM, huh?
Poor Nico.
You could not have seen that coming. Hey, should we work up a new slideshow for Steph? Nah, just use the same one we gave KD.
Yeah. Rerun it.
He won't even notice.
Re-rack.
This client isn't very important.
So I know I'm not expecting a great game tonight without Luka out there.
This is the problem with Luka. You're going to be battling soft tissue injuries his entire career.
And they're going to run into the same issue. They're going to have to try and find a way to get a star to LA next to him, and
that actually enjoys playing next to him.
That wants to play next to him, and free agency's dead. So you're going to have some type of trade piece to go out and get him. And if they want to go trade for Walker, maybe, but it does eat up a chunk of their money. I like the idea of the Dodgers ownership taking over the Lakers. You can't do in the NBA what you can do in MLB because there is a salary cap, and it makes it much harder to acquire players. It's just that's why a lot of these teams end up with James Harden on their roster or end up with Kevin Durant on their roster, because they recognize we think we're close. How do we get better? Oh no, the only option is James Harden. And that's where the Cavs are today. It's where the Rockets were with Kevin Durant. It's where the Suns were when they traded for KD. It's why these teams make these weird mistakes. By the way, after our earlier conversation, I don't know if our listeners today were listening earlier, but we were talking about, does James Harden leave Cleveland this offseason because he's got a player option and probably wants to get a contract somewhere else? And Cleveland probably just ends up paying him, is the truth. But I was trying to work a trade for James Harden during one of our commercial breaks, and I thought, what might be funny is Jimmy Butler. Because Cleveland needs an alpha, and Jimmy Butler is an alpha, and he's not going to play a whole lot next year, and Cleveland might say, well, we'll trade James Harden for Jimmy Butler. I had just totally spaced Cleveland is so far over the tax that they just can't make trades. Unless you're getting less money back, which inherently usually means you're getting a worse player, you're not making a trade. So they can't really even improve their roster as we see this thing slowly fall apart.
It's where the Jazz were.
It's exactly where the Jazz were headed.
Couldn't make a move.
Yep, couldn't get better. Didn't have the draft picks after going all in on Mike Conley. And they recognized, instead of letting that slow death occur, to just lop it off and start over.
Coming up next, we'll talk a little college football. There is a growing support for a certain format for the college football playoff.
Growing by who? We'll talk about that.
Indeed. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life's sleep.
I drive my bus in a busy city. That's why road safety is so important to me. I know that I must slow down and be extra careful when I make a wide turn. Buses need more room than cars. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're driving, remember to give buses plenty of time and space to finish turning before driving ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top. Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. We are going to talk college football here in a second, but I got to tell you, that Diana Rossini video waddling down the deck.
We haven't talked about it. Let's talk about it.
It's such a bad look.
We can get to the college football thing in just a minute.
Such a bad look. That video is such a bad look.
Well, again, and I think what's happening here is the same problem that everybody had when this story tried to break but didn't, which was you can tell in the video shot by whoever this is that posted it of Vrabel had absolutely no idea that was Diana Rossini.
No, they knew it was Mike Vrabel.
Because they say Vrabel in the cut, which just means like Vrabel's here.
Uh-huh.
And it pans over and shows Diana Rossini extraordinarily pregnant.
Super pregnant.
Extraordinarily pregnant.
They're going to go for a 3-hour boat ride.
And they're going for a boat ride. And yeah, like it's not a long video. I think it's 25 seconds long. And there are other people of the staff that help you get the boat or whatever. But they clearly didn't know this was not Vrabel's wife. Mm-hmm. Which probably should be his argument too. I didn't know it wasn't my wife.
Does this end in Vrabel stepping down?
I
think it might.
I said no initially, but when he does resign, this will be part of it.
Every day is a new story.
But every day is a new story.
I don't know how you like. Sometimes when people say distractions, that's ridiculous. It's a professional sports franchise. There are distractions. In fact, Mike Vrabel is probably not the only member of the Patriots organization having an affair with a member of the media.
Correct.
Like, it's noisy. Distractions aren't really a thing. This might be a distraction.
And
because it's not just ESPN doing it, it's TMZ and Page Six that are all over it, and the Daily Mail, and they don't let anything go. The royal family has sued the Daily Mail like 15,000 times. They still have a royal family story every single day.
And they are in this interesting spot where their window is actually just opening. This is a really young team. A lot of people think Drake May is like the second or third best quarterback in the NFL already, and he's just arriving. If you were going to move off of somebody, you can move off of Vrabel right now.
Yeah.
You haven't won the Super Bowl. I know you made it, but you haven't won it all. Vrabel has not proven that he's that guy yet. You could probably go out and find another coach that is exciting, and it would be totally understandable because, yeah, Jake, well, you are talking about the distraction part of it. Like, what is every OTA about? What is fall camp going to be about? Like, this story will be there. And whether that's enough to prevent you from winning on the field or not, it could spook people who are decision makers above Vrabel, i.e. the GM or president of football ops or whoever, and that could cost him his job.
Well, what you can't have is a circus. And this is so, I mean, you take two different players from kind of opposite ends of the political spectrum, interestingly enough, that a lot of people thought did not get an opportunity when they should have gotten it. Tim Tebow and Colin Kaepernick. Mm-hmm. Borderline NFL players could have gotten more opportunities, but did not.
Yes.
And the reason that they did not, and people on the Kaepernick side would probably argue this.
Let's just say they were both NFL players.
But the circus is the reason that they didn't get signed. Correct. Because if you sign Tim Tebow and say, hey, we'll give you a shot in camp, the circus shows up.
Yes.
If you sign Colin Kaepernick and say, we're going to give you a chance in camp to make the roster, the circus shows up. Give me a crappy backup quarterback.
Taylor Heineke.
Nobody's showing up for Taylor Heineke. Nobody.
He just retired.
It's not a circus. It's not nothing. There's literally not one reporter who's going to ask a question about Taylor Heineke.
But when Tim Tebow or Colin Kaepernick's your backup, everyone is coming for the head of the starter.
Tim Tebow could be backing up Aaron Rodgers, and all the reporters would talk about would be Tim Tebow. It's the reason the Jazz could never have signed Jimmer Fredette.
Correct. Exactly right. You can't go and get him.
It would just be a circus. I remember when Orrin Hatch ambushed an interview with Dennis Lindsay that we were doing. And Orrin Hatch just shuffled into the studio. And it's like, oh, hi there, Senator Hatch.
Hey, Orrin.
Sit down.
Yeah.
You want to do an interview with us and Dennis Lindsay? And Orrin Hatch goes, Dennis, I always thought you should sign Jimmer. Told Dennis Lindsay to sign Jimmer. Orrin Hatch was like the third or fourth most powerful guy in the country at the time.
And that's exactly why you can't sign Jimmer.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. You can't sign the circus. As soon as this becomes a circus, if camp opened today, Ben, he would not get one question about football.
Right.
He could do a 10 or 15-minute media availability, and he would not get one question about football. His players would not get one question about football.
Right.
And you say, that's ridiculous. Why would you be asking his players? Because this is the biggest story in sports / news. And so that's all. It's going to be a circus. And as soon as it reaches circus level, that's when football teams cut bait.
Yes.
Because they don't want the circus for a variety of reasons.
Yeah. And they also have a great story otherwise. That's the nice thing. They have Drake May. They have actually the bigger story already on their roster. And any coach is going to want to take that job. Every coach would love to go and take a team that just won the Super Bowl went to the Super Bowl with a young quarterback who appears to be a star in the making. So that's, yes, their advantage.
Who did not go out on a boat with Diana Rossini.
That we know of. So you're right. I think that is where the potential for him to resign does absolutely come in. And we are very quickly approaching that with the entrance of the boat, and we don't know what comes after the boat.
Because you know what Bob Kraft wants the media to be talking about? Drake May.
Yes. Absolutely right.
He wants Drake May all over the news on the front page, and wow, what a great season it's going to be for the Patriots. They're going to get none of that.
And you know what? Another part of this that I've touched on a little bit, and this was more personal, talking about Vrabel's personal life, which was I hope he told his wife everything. Because when the boat video comes out and she has to watch the boat video again, she has to be like, what happened there? Why didn't you tell me about that? Yada, yada, yada. I honestly hope Vrabel told his boss everything that happened. Because if he said, I made a mistake, it was once in Sonoma, that was it, and this keeps coming out, now you're lying to your boss. And now that's a circus. Now I can't trust you because I don't know what's going to come out next. And by the way, who even runs the Patriots right now? Do we know who their GM is? Okay. Stephen Wolf. What is Stephen Wolf getting asked about the next time he has a press conference?
The boat.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
The boat.
The
Diana
boat.
Rossini. So if he wants to put an end to it, he puts an end to Vrabel. And that's the easy solution, and that's the problem Vrabel's put himself in.
By the way, was the Comfort Inn booked up? Because a boat logistically seems very difficult.
And she's 7 months pregnant.
Yeah, very
and looks
much.
it.
All right, Ben, let's deliver out a little of the college football here because it is in the news today. It's been in the news for really the past couple of weeks that the Big Ten is really pushing for the college football playoff to expand to 24 teams. Then today, or I guess it would have been yesterday, Ben, the AFCA,
American Football Coaches Association,
has endorsed 20 of 24 team playoff. And did you know Craig Bowl was the head of the Coaches
I saw that
Association?
name.
Yeah, I had no idea. Shout out to Craig Bowl. Go Pokes. I guess, Ben, what are your thoughts? We can get into what I think is going to happen and the forces that are pulling in one way or another. But what are your thoughts, first of all, on a 24-team college football playoff?
I hate it. And I've been rallying for revitalizing, that's the word. Revitalizing.
Invitalizing, like an invitation?
Revitalizing.
Are we inviting Tim Tebow to camp?
The value of conference championships. I want that to matter more. I actually don't believe in most sports that rivalries matter. I hear people push, we need to get rivalries back in the NBA. We need to get You have stars for that. There are actually not very good stars in college football. And the stars are the coaches, but there are not that many stars. So what you need to do is build up those rivalries because you know what the best thing we have locally? BYU, Utah. It's awesome. It's a great rivalry. And guess what? Michigan, Ohio State's the same way. Oklahoma, Texas is the same way. Everybody has their rival, and it's the best part of college football specifically. Mm-hmm. And rebuild those with strong conferences and meaningful conference championships. But the college football playoff, the more you expand it, the less those rivalries mean because now everyone just says, oh, I don't care that Utah lost to BYU. They still got a chance to go to the Rose Bowl that year. And that was awesome. Now, part of the reason Utah got to go to the Rose Bowl that year also was because they made a conference championship and they won it. This scheme, this proposed idea also includes getting rid of potentially conference championship games entirely.
It would include that, yeah.
Because when you add 24 playoff teams, now you're asking these college kids to play too many games because the playoffs are a legit 6 weeks long, whatever it is, 5 weeks long. So you don't have time to play 12 regular season games, plus a conference championship game, plus 5 weeks or 4 weeks of the playoffs, and be able to ask these kids to do that reasonably. Mm-hmm. So you're going to kill conference championship games, which hurts conferences, which hurts rivalries, in order to reward 24 teams largely made up exclusively of two conferences, will be my guess, to pay the haves, to kill the have-nots, and ultimately destroy the big picture of college football to focus on just a very select few. So I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
I hate it too, but I wanted it to stay at 2 teams. I never wanted the playoff in the first place.
I'm totally with you. 4, fine, I guess.
Well, I said that a long time ago. I said as soon as you open the door and you're going to go to 4 and then it's 8 and then Lord knows. And then you have college basketball. And here's where I will add to what you were talking about. This will make the regular season meaningless.
Completely meaningless.
Absolutely. And this gets to where you're talking about rivalries. You're kind of in the same discussion. Some teams will be able to lose 4 games.
Yeah.
Do people realize how bad the 25th team is compared to the first team in college football?
Right.
I mean, do people realize how bad the 9th team is compared to the top team in college football? I mean, if you lose 4 games in the Big Ten, should you deserve a shot at the title?
No.
And by the way, I know why coaches want this. Because coaches want to point at successes because it helps them keep their
Made
job.
the college football playoff.
It's the same reason they want to expand the college basketball tournament to 78, and coaches are all on board with that because you don't fire coaches that make the NCAA tournament. And if the bar is super low, you're not going to fire that coach. Penn State doesn't fire James Franklin if they make the college football playoff as the 23rd team.
Indiana did not need to prove it on the field against 9-4 Iowa or 9-4 USC. Or 9-4 Michigan this year.
Mm-hmm.
Those teams weren't good. They were fine. Fine is not a playoff team. That's it. End of story. And yet you're exactly right. Yes, it makes some more money for some of the schools. To what end? There's clearly no end. And then, yes, it just tries to save some jobs of some very mediocre coaches.
Now, once again, we are also misidentifying, and I say we, both of us, the priorities and the goal here. Because we're looking at, wow, this would be a cool product or not a cool product or even making money. The story of this is who airs the games. And there's a reason why the Big Ten is pushing for 24. And if you don't want them to go to 24, the good news is I would guess it won't, at least in the short term. And here's why. Who owns the Big Ten, Ben?
Who is it? ESPN?
Fox.
Fox, that's right.
Who owns the SEC?
Big noon.
Who owns the SEC?
ESPN.
The Mouse.
Do we have a problem?
Who owns the college football playoff?
ESPN.
The Mouse. Now, the college football playoff has come up for a bid a couple of times, but it hasn't. The Mouse has, and this
is a fake bid.
This is, by the way, a big complaint of a lot of athletic directors that are out there.
Oh, boy.
Is that the college football playoff, and specifically Bill Hancock, who runs it, who's the same corrupt bozo who ran the BCS back in the day. And there's a reason he's still in that spot. And that reason is Mickey the Mouse. He is Mickey the Mouse's cutout. And so what has happened with the rights to the college football playoff multiple times is that Bill Hancock and Mickey the Mouse behind closed doors have hammered out the rights fees.
Yeah.
It has not come up for bid for Fox. It has not come up for bid for anyone. It has been entirely controlled by ESPN. Now, why does the Big Ten want to go to 24, Ben? Because ESPN cannot air 24 college football games.
There's not enough time.
They cannot do it.
Yeah.
So they will be forced to sell college football playoff games, or they will be forced, the college football playoff will be forced to take on another partner. And Fox wants it. And so Fox wants it to get as big as possible so that they can get a bite out of college football playoff. And I'm sure Big Ten schools like the idea because the price tag will be higher. And if I cared about money, which I absolutely don't, and I don't care who's getting what, it makes no difference to me. I would argue that it's better for the sport that multiple networks have a chance to bid on these games because the price tag will go up and up and up.
Agreed.
That is the complaint, is that the Mouse has a lock on it. So you're not maxing out the value.
Never hits the market.
So the Big Ten Fox wants the inventory. So they want it to go to 24, so it forces ESPN's hand. ESPN, however, Ben, does not want that.
Correct.
They don't want to share. They will get as big as they can without being forced to share. Now, here's the good news for the Mouse. One, they're currently in control. And two, the SEC is still a bigger deal in college football than the Big Ten. Now, maybe that's shifting a little bit, but it is still true. The majority of college football fans are in the SEC footprint, not necessarily in the Big Ten footprint. The SEC has has a lot of the leverage. And right now, Sankey is saying no to 24, which means the Mouse is saying no to 24, which means it's not going to 24, not anytime soon.
And ESPN, SEC, wants 11 plus 1 or 5 plus 1, the 5 group of 5 champions or the 4 group of 4 champions plus the best group of 5 school or whatever, and then 11 at-larges. And they're even smart enough to recognize, and I mean smart enough, dirty enough to know that they want those 11 at-large bids to just go to their schools.
Sure.
But 16 is a number, I think to your point, that they can manage. They can keep those games. 16, totally fine. Plenty of room to air 8 games or, in the opening round or whatever they have to get this moving. That's not a problem for them in the slightest.
And you notice who's out there hammering this idea the most? That bald bozo Paul Feinbaum, who absolutely had a freaking meltdown on ESPN today about this entire idea. Now, Paul is paid by the Mouse.
Yeah.
And Paul specifically covers and homers out for?
The SEC.
This thing ain't going to 24.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon. Not a chance. All right, stay tuned. We'll have more next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
All systems go. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two niggas on the airwaves, talking sports. They got it made Jakes and also loves his tie guy. Ben's got style with his scarves. Oh my.
Hey, good afternoon, Jake and Ben. Your conversation about flies being down and worst times for doing that and weddings reminded me that 25 years ago, June 2nd, I was married in the LDS Houston Temple, and the officiant for that ceremony was standing at the end of the altar with his fly down, and my wife and I are kneeling down across this altar with our heads right about fly level, and we had to turn and look at him, and that's kind of all I could see. So 25 years later, that's the main memory that sticks out from that wedding. That, and then my wife still holds it against me how long it took me to change. I had a defective bow tie in the dressing room, and so it was about 90 degrees and humid in Houston in June, and everyone was waiting outside for me to fix my bow tie. But there you go, fly down.
Hello, this message is for Jake and Ben. This is once again Zach from Ohio, podcast listener from the future. I'm probably going to have to do this in 2 parts because I have so much to say and can't possibly cram it into 60 seconds. But the first thing I have to say is, ease up on the hostility, little brother. This is a friendly competition. People are going to think you have the roid rage. And to quote the not-so-great Pauly Shore in the oh-so-great Thanksgiving movie Son-in-Law, ease up on the steroids. That juice will make your jewels shrivel up like sun-dried tomatoes. Weasel. Sorry, I had to drop that to prove I'm an actual listener of the show because Jake and Ben had that same take about 1 or 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't agree more. We actually watched Son-in-Law every Thanksgiving in my family, so completely agree. But let's get to the Captain Jack meme. This is the second part of the message for Jake and Ben. Now for my Quinn Snyder is Captain Jack meme drop submission. All right, so you remember how Quinn was always a bit hit or miss in his post-game comments. It was always a 50-50 shot. You'd get either thoughtful analysis or dismissive coach talk. But one thing was always certain. He did not like anything that questioned his decision-making, much like Witt on his use of timeouts on that PTSD-inducing Washington game. Yeah, much like that. Like that.
Like that?
Well, here is a Captain Jack quote that fits that almost a little too well. The problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. Now, as much as I love a sibling rivalry, let's get some more competition up in here. We've got like 5 whole Pirates of the Caribbean movies, so lots of source material to choose from. So come on, Jake and Ben listeners, bring it on.
Shout out to Scott, and that's our buddy Zachary, who's got a sibling rivalry going with our other buddy Eb.
I'm getting PTSD of being at home. Like, I got to separate my kids. They are fighting with each other, and I got to get them in separate rooms and take a breather.
I love it that he threw a wit blast in there. That
we
makes
need a
me
timeout.
laugh. Okay, Scott, I got to tell you, you win on the fly debate. This all came up because I apparently spent the entire afternoon with my fly down. I went like to the mall, and it was just bad. We were talking about the worst place to ever fly down. Performing a wedding ceremony where the couple is kneeling, that's it.
That's the winner.
That's the winner.
In a sacred
ceremony. In a very serious...
Yeah. It's one thing of Christian showing up with his pants down at somebody else's wedding, whatever, dude. But this is a real wedding. this was something sacred.
Wow. Can you imagine turning around? You're on your knees, you turn around. Most
Not
important
really.
day
You're
of your
supposed
life.
to be laughing.
Oh, man. Oh, that's
Do you say
amazing.
something?
I would, for sure.
You just do the guy thing. The
Hey.
head nod.
Hey, guy.
Yeah, that's universal speak. Doesn't matter what building
I think you got to say something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do like the cough, like you cough and then say it, like, your fly's down.
Chicken fly. Yeah, I agree. I got to do something, though. You can't. Now poor Scott's got that visual in his brain.
25 years.
That's the most important day of his life.
But he got the bow tie figured out at some point.
Yeah, that's good.
Took a little while.
Hey, and it's your wedding. You can make people stand in the sun.
Yeah, they were there for you in the first place.
Deal with it.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
examine your flies.
Use the call-in feature. If you've got something to say, call in. Use the KSL Sports app. You heard Zachary say it. If you've got more thoughts on the drop we should use for Captain Jack, make sure and get that in. And, of course, we play them. We play them each and every day. So get those call-ins going to KSLSports.com. We'll have more next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Now, at McDonald's, wake up to a $4 breakfast meal deal. Wake up to a sausage McMuffin or a sausage biscuit, to hash browns, and wake up to a hot coffee. Get your $4 breakfast meal deal.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.